Hi there.
How are you?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm ready to go, Dawn, whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's start letting everybody in.
All right. I'm going to take myself off video.
Okay, thanks, Talia. Okay, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and Talia, my teammate from Nova, is going to help me do some attendance here. Welcome to Oak Tree, May 27th HOA meeting. Thank you all for being here. Briefly, I am going to just do some Zoom etiquette and then some introductions as Talia is letting everyone in. We are recording today, so if you need to pop off for a little bit, or if you need to go early, or if you just want to check it out later, or if you have a neighbor that was unable to attend and wants to watch, then by Friday I will have that posted, so you will have the recorded meeting there. And then just a little bit of etiquette. For those of you who are joining in via computer, if you look at the very bottom of your screen at the left-hand side, you will see it looks like a little microphone, old-timey microphone, and it says mute. So I ask that all of our homeowners stay muted so that we don't have distraction and a lot of background noise so that's difficult for everyone to hear. If you have sound, if you have some problems, say with your microphone, you may have to check that. But I ask that you stay muted for this meeting. Next to that little icon of a microphone, you will see what looks like a little video camera icon. And that is if you don't want to be videoed, if you want to listen, but you don't want to be on video, you want to see, but you don't want to have your video on, you can stop that so that you're not on video. And then for those of us like Steve Bay, and I know Dawn Wilson and myself, and Karen, we like to have this beautiful, place that we're envisioning behind us, i.e. the beach. So you can always pull up right next to that little video camera. You can pull up, there's a drop-down menu, and you can choose a virtual background, either from something that you have in your computer or Zoom. If you're signed into Zoom, they have a couple backgrounds like the one that is behind me of this beautiful beach. So again, we ask that you stay muted during the homeowners forum of this meeting, which will be at the end, and we will announce it. We ask, instead of everybody being unmuted, that you use our chat feature. There is a chat feature that is just to the right of that video icon, and you can click on that chat feature, and you can go ahead and type out your chat question, and I can read that question. So we can have that answered for you. We are a little limited on time so that we can finish up today, hopefully in time for you all to have your dinner. So if we don't get to every single question, rest assured that we will look at those questions and get answers to you, the homeowner. If you can't think of a question, or you think of something, which I do all the time when I go to bed, I have like all of these things in my head and think of right at the wrong time when I'm supposed to be sleeping. If you do, or if you're like me and you do that, then you can always send that question on over to me, and I will do my best to get an answer for you right away. So I want to make some introductions. We have our Nova team. I am Dawn Wood, Oak Tree HOA manager. I have my teammate Talia Martin, who is in, and she is helping me do the roll call here and the attendance. Also have Dee Turner from Nova. He is the Nova president. And some of you guys might remember Christina Peterson, who is the vice president of Nova. And she has joined us. She's back from maternity leave. We're so happy to have her back. And so you guys might recognize the familiar face of Christina. And then, of course, we have our board. For Oak Tree, which is Karen Erickson and Jennifer Mahaffey. So we're still just kind of getting some people admitted in. The people joining.
Hello, Dawn.
Hi there.
I see you're at the beach again.
Yes, I am.
You need to come back to work.
Hey, Dawn, everyone is in the meeting.
Okay, good. Thank you, Talia.
Can we make sure everyone is muted?
Yes, because so everyone
I
is
still see a few that aren't.
okay.
Yeah, it helps with feedback as well.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, welcome to our first Oak Tree Homeowners Association virtual meeting. Who knew we would be here? Bear with us. It's a learning curve for all of us as well. I think we've been using Zoom for a lot of smaller meetings, but this is our first larger meeting. So we're just trying to roll with the punches as well. So I think most people might have seen the agenda that was posted today. Basically what we're going to do is call the meeting to order, and it's officially 4:05. So I will take note. And actually, the board has their board packet, and within that packet we have our last in-person board meeting minutes from January 22nd. So we need to get those approved. So do we have a motion? So Karen, you need to unmute yourself. Karen, can you unmute yourself?
Of course.
Mhm.
There you go.
So
I make a motion.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we'll make sure we get the approved January meeting minutes up on the portal. And then we'll just roll right into our treasurer's report with the April financials. I will just go ahead and read that little snippet. So our April 2020 financial reports were mailed to the board on May 13th of 2020. As of April 30th, 2020, our current account balances as this. Total operating accounts, we have $674,984.95. In our checking account, we have $672,526.87. And in our reserve account, we're currently sitting at $42,192.05. And our delinquencies as of April 30th are 0. So that means right now we are sitting very financially healthy for our association. And if you'd like to look at a financial statement in more detail, you can always reach out to Dawn and she can provide those to you. So there's that little treasurer's report. So we'll move right into our committees, and we'll allow each committee chairperson to give their updates. And so it looks like Steve's queued and ready to start first for the ACC committee.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Hope you like my screen background. I've got to get a little water here with my special cup.
Lovely.
Nice touch.
Start. Okay. Well, your ACC committee continues to review homeowner requests for exterior changes and provide recommendations to the Homeowners Association Board of Directors within 30 days of submittal. Prior to submitting an ACC request, the committee encourages homeowners to review the Ovation at Oak Tree community covenants and restrictions, as well as any policies and procedures available to you on the Oak Tree HOA portal that may pertain to your interest in making an exterior alteration to your property. And this also applies when expressing a concern or making an inquiry regarding another homeowner's exterior alterations. The point is that a Facebook group or another online chat forum should not be used as a resource for homeowner ACC projects or for pavilion use either. A really important reminder is that you, the homeowner, is responsible for obtaining building permits when you've got a project. You're responsible for obtaining building permits, complying with building codes, and all other government requirements and restrictions for your proposed project. Clean air restrictions are also the homeowner's responsibility when considering construction or use of an outdoor fire pit or outdoor fireplace. Something else like allowable concrete patio coverage as a percentage of your lot size is something that the county is concerned about, and that's your responsibility to figure out as well. You can always refer to Article 3 of your CCNRs, pages 20 through 22, and that's not quite the same document as your rules and regulations. The CCNRs are the really long one, over 60 pages, and that's section 3 where you can find out and understand your responsibilities and review the enforcement ramifications for failure to follow the architectural rules of the community. Well, the ACC has been very busy, and we've seen a flourish of homeowner activity and ACC requests these past 2 months. And I've come up with some common issues that we've reviewed and we want to share with you. And these include driveway and concrete sealant, for instance. While solvent-based sealants are acceptable, if possible, we ask that you please use a water-based sealant instead, and one that does not alter the color if you decide to seal the concrete on your driveway. We have received concerns from a number of neighboring residents regarding the odor produced during sealant application. Make sure you submit an ACC request prior to applying any concrete sealant for your driveway so your neighbors will be aware of possible odors and so that they can take precautions for themselves as well as their pets. Solid wood burning for recreational usage is prohibited under the Thurston County cities, in the Thurston County cities of Lacey, Olympia, and Tumwater. Now, while Ovation at Oak Tree currently resides in unincorporated Lacey, otherwise referred to as the urban growth area of Lacey, it is very likely that our development will not remain unincorporated over time. It is therefore highly discouraged to plan for a wood or pellet burning outdoor fire pit or fireplace for your backyard. Natural gas, propane, electric, or charcoal do not have these same restrictions, however. Additionally, please remember that our homes are very close together, and the smoke and embers produced by outdoor solid fuel fires can represent not only a fire safety hazard in our community, but may also pose a health hazard to neighbors with compromised respiratory systems. Think about your neighbors on all ACC projects. Another item we've seen is gravel. Now, solid white, black and white, or tuxedo colored gravel is not allowable for use in your front yard in public view, nor is it allowable as an edging or as a walkway from your fence gate to your driveway. If you have done this without submitting an ACC request, then please submit a request, replacing the white or black and white gravel with a neutral or natural colored alternative. A little more water. Hello, Kitty. Something else that's come up, we want to remind you, please do not purchase materials for a planned project prior to receiving final approval, the final approval letter from the board of directors for your project. The fact that you may have already laid out some money for a project will not sway the ACC committee or the board toward approving your request. Something else, the idea that you may have seen another homeowner make an exterior alteration to their home does not justify that you can do the same or similar thing to your home. That homeowner may not have followed the rules and regulations, nor received approval, or may be currently in arrears for non-conforming work. And do not necessarily expect that your request will be approved even if another homeowner's request has been approved. That other homeowner may have received a variance due to special circumstances, and lot sizes are different, and the proximity of your project to a neighbor may differ from a previous request. We want to remind you that the committee is not responsible for the enforcement of alterations or work done in violation of Article 3 of those CCNRs. HOA management periodically does visual inspections and drive-bys of the community and notifies the board of possible violations. However, if you'd like to voice a concern regarding a perceived or possible violation, please bring this to the attention of the HOA manager and not to a committee member. Now, if you get a phone call or written questions regarding your planned project, we don't want you to think or infer that your project is heading toward a denial of a request. In fact, the vast majority of requests are approved by both your neighbors and by the board of directors without alteration of any kind to the original plan. But those questions, those reasons the HOA manager asks for clarifying information may be because the committee received vague or incomplete plans and we have a question. It could be because the committee received a question from one of your neighbors and we need to get that clarified as well. Or because the committee is aware of difficulties that we've seen on prior projects that are similar to your plan, and we've encountered those before. Two more things. We have a reminder to homeowners to obtain all neighbors' signatures on ACC requests. To the right, to the left, across, and behind your home. That's important. Also, a reminder that a neighbor's signature on an ACC form signifies acknowledgement or awareness of a proposed alteration. Their signature does not signify their acceptance of your proposal or a homeowner's proposal. A neighbor may express their dissatisfaction with a proposal to management and the ACC committee even after signing. And the up to 30 days turnaround period for a proposal not only allows for the ACC and the HOA board to fully review a proposal, but it also allows your neighbors and other homeowners to voice any concerns they may have and contact the HOA. Lastly, hopefully some good news. A new tab on the Oaktree HOA portal contains an updated list of policies and acceptable substitutions to make things easier for many commonly requested exterior alterations, including handrails, for instance, roofing material, house paint, fencing stain, your step system, septic covers, outdoor lighting, window shutters, and lawn and porch ornamentation, just to name a few. And we'll continue to add to those. You'll find those on the portal. Homeowners are encouraged to consult the ACC Standardizations tab on the portal, in addition to the governing documents and declaration under the Documents link when drafting a request. Well, board, that's the ACC's report.
All right, thank you, Steve. Very detailed. Yes, we have been busy with the ACCs. So why don't we go ahead and move right on to the Landscape Committee. Dawn, where are you? I think you might be on my second page.
I'm right here.
Yeah, there you are.
Okay, first I would like to recognize some special people of our community. I refer to this group as the Scotch Broom Warriors. On behalf of the Landscape Committee, I would like to thank Bill and Susan Smiley and their daughter, Chris Sather, Janet and Lori Hensley, Joe and Janet Bobo, Christina and Fred Holland, as well as anyone else who I did not mention, who went out and fought the battle of the Scotch Broom. We thank you for all your diligence, hard work, and determination with removing the Scotch Broom throughout the Oak Preserve. Your countless hours and dedication has definitely enhanced the beauty of our Oak Tree Preserve as well as our community. As many of you know, a recent survey was completed in the community regarding additional signs. The results of that survey, based on the results of that survey, the board has approved the additional signs. These signs will state at the 5 interior trail entrances within the preserve that is private property only for residents and their guests. There will also be a sign reminding people who have pets are to keep them on leash, as well as responsibility of picking up pet waste, as stated in Article 8 of our CC&Rs. These signs have been ordered and will be installed as soon as we receive them. We did receive some information that Thurston County was providing pet waste bag stations. The committee explored this idea of installing a county-provided sign, which included 500 pet waste bags at each station. They required a completion of the application, listed other guidelines of obtaining the pet waste stations. The HOA would be expected to replenish the stations with the bags after the first 500 bags were used. And we were also expected to have someone assigned from the community to monitor and maintain these stations. After reviewing all these requirements, the Landscape Committee would like to first monitor on how the new signs that we're posting soon will work with enforcing this issue before going into the process of getting these stations from Thurston County. We have sent the application to Don Wood, who has the application on file. So in the event that we find that additional resources are needed to enforce this issue, we can go that route or possibly consider reviewing the contract with Monarch and seeing what they would charge to provide such service. Monarch Landscape Company has been diligently working in getting the irrigation system operational, and we should have everything operational soon. If you believe you have a problem with your sprinklers or front yard flower bed maintenance concerns, it is important for you to know the best process to follow to submit a resident is to submit a resident request on the portal. This action will create a work order that will track the status of your request from the time that it is submitted to completion of the request. If you find this process to be difficult, please contact Don Wood by email for assistance. Monarch Landscaping will be starting to focus on front yard bed maintenance, trimming plants, and clearing weeds from the flower beds, as well as completing maintenance on the trails within the preserves as we move forward into the continuing month. They will also continue the battle on noxious weed control within the community and on the trails. Don Wood and Bug Busters Exterminating Company have been taking proactive approach to building a defense plan to keep the Yellow Jackets from making their summer home in the community within our common areas. We have Yellow Jacket traps placed around the pavilion and at the entrance adjacent to the pavilion to the Oak Preserve to see how successful they are. Hopefully with this effort, it should help Oak Tree to ward off those pesky Yellow Jackets. Lastly, upcoming vacancies for the Landscape Committee. As it stands right now, Landscape Committee positions are filled with some anticipated vacancies expected in October. If there are any community members interested in joining the Landscape Committee, please either contact Don Wood or myself, and we will place your name on a waiting list and be notified when you can join the committee. And that is all the information from the Landscape Committee.
Perfect, thank you. A lot going on there too. Looks like we can move to, well, Mel is not present, but Dawn, did you want to speak on behalf of her real quick?
Yes, Mel just said that she is starting to work on the July and August newsletter. So if you have any ideas for articles for that, you can email Mel, or if you don't have Mel's email, please email me and I will get it to Mel.
Great. So let's move on to the Pavilion Committee. I did see that Bill is present. So if we can get him unmuted.
I'm unmuted, I hope.
You're unmuted.
Am I up on the screen?
You're not. You're a talking square right now.
Oh, well, here, let me start.
Yeah, no video.
There.
Well, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm reporting from the secret bunker of the Pavilion Committee headquarters.
Nice.
And someday, maybe if you're lucky and you're on the committee, you can play with some of these machines back here too. It's been pretty quiet. I don't have all the good stuff that's ACC and landscapes and going on. Of course, there's been no events to report. I do have, rumor has it, that Thurston County is about to go to phase 2. which means that the pavilion, at least the community room, will, can I say, likely open shortly thereafter. As you
Actually, Bill, we don't know that yet, so we'll address a little bit more about possible opening later.
okay. Well,
Keep going.
gee, I have a whole page of stuff to talk about. No, that's fine. That's fine. What I can do is, while the pavilion has been closed, there has been things going on with it. I understand that the community room clock is about ready to be installed. There's a hand sanitizer that has been installed into the gym. I know that some of the outdoor furniture, the patio furniture, has been put out. Still needs to get the pollen and dust cleaned off. That's being scheduled. The foyer door, the one that's over by the shed, was sticking again, and that lock has been replaced. So hopefully that'll be working. Heating and air conditioning, maintenance has been done. I know we have the windows are due to be cleaned shortly. The barbecue sink, I turned it on, it was leaking. Don has addressed that. I think that is getting fixed. So when the barbecues and such are back up and going, that'll be working. I know the barbecues will be checked. The fire pit will be checked. Actually, I checked it. It is working. And I think really that's about it. Otherwise, we've been working on paperwork and processes and policies and things along that line. So it just gave us some free time to do that. And I guess I'll echo the same thing that Don said, that we are planning on turning over our staff on the committee come October. So if you are interested in playing with these machines back here, also it's nice for the SpaceX space launch. We work with them as well. Just kidding. Certainly let us or Don know, and we'll arrange some chance to talk. That's it.
All right.
If I could chime in here, the ACC committee also will be looking for new members. We don't have fancy machines, but we do have pretty little cats that you can play with on the committee. So same thing goes for us. If you're interested in serving on the committee, you can contact a committee member or the HOA manager. Thank you.
All right. Don, do you want to do some introductions with some of our returning and special guests and go into the manager's report?
Sure. As I spoke in the very beginning, we've got Christina Peterson back from maternity leave, and she is the vice president of NOVA. And we also have the NOVA president, Deke, who's going to speak to some budget questions that you guys had in November and January. I'm going to go ahead and do my manager report for the board, and then let Christina say hello, and then let Deke doesn't have a lot of time with us tonight, so I'll let him get into his presentation afterwards. So some annual calendar updates, and some of this might kind of cross over to what Bill was talking about, but hopefully some additional detail for you. The Pavilion Cleaning Service, I met with them on May 21st, and we discussed their schedule to clean pavilion furniture and patio furniture sometime in June. They're anxiously waiting, coming back and cleaning the pavilion, but we've got that on hold right now. HOA landscaper Monarch has been doing essential services, but now they're working extra hard to get caught up. And speaking of which, that leads us right into the BARC plan. Thank you so much to our landscape committee and to the ACC committee and Monarch for working together as a team and helping us come up with the BARC plan. This month, BARC was installed at the pavilion, the entrance, as well as some areas on Schmidt's Court that had some exposed irrigation lines. So in 2021, Division 1 is scheduled to be rebarked. 2022, Division 2 will be rebarked. And I have this posted on the portal for you. Also, the annual 2020 annual calendar, I had a lot of updates to do for that. And I have also posted that to the portal, the update for you. Bug Busters, as Dawn spoke about in the landscaping minutes, has been treating the pavilion quarterly and also been working with us. Dawn and I met with them and spoke to them at the end of last year because we did not want the Yellow Jackets to return like they did last summer. So thankfully, they worked with us as a team to get that underway, to get some bee traps up in around the pavilion and the preserve entrance. Also, I did post on the portal if any homeowners are wanting to contact them and do some bee prevention in their yards. They will be doing that and available for a discounted price. So you can reach out to them on your own, or if you have any questions, of course, you can email me. All seasons window washing is scheduled for May 29th to come and clean the windows of the pavilion. And as Bill mentioned, of the Pavilion Committee, ProCom installed a new block mechanism on the back door of the pavilion on May 6th. Sunset Air, as Bill also spoke in the Pavilion Committee, completed their quarterly service on May 8th. Our handyman was out on the 21st. He installed a hand sanitizer in the gym and worked on the kitchen door of the pavilion, had a little bit of a lag, so he fixed that. He tested the barbecue and the fire pit to make sure those were working, and is working on fixing that leak in the outside barbecue sink. Nova is working on an oak tree orientation materials and video, and so that's in process. Management will be working on an oak tree request for additional info. This will cover email, phone numbers, and age verification. We are required to audit for the HOA's 55 and plus status. And so stay tuned for details on that coming soon. The Oak Tree HOA annual audit and tax return was completed. The Oak Tree HOA annual submission to the Secretary of State was completed. For portal updates, there are 146 registered members and 167 emails on file. And I just wanted to check on eBlast. If you find some homeowners have that in their profile of the portal, they have it unchecked for receiving eBlast. Mel and I put our heads together and figured that out as super sleuths. So if you feel like you're not getting all the eBlast, or you want some help for me to help homeowners with portal settings, please send me an email. I'm happy to do that to assist. We had a total of 75 ACC requests so far that have been processed this year to date. And as Don Wilson spoke in the Landscape Committee, the SurveyMonkey survey that went out on May 4th, the results were 81% yes to some signs, and those will be installed this summer. I'm in the process of ordering those right now. And then, as the board mentioned, any ideas, Mel Breeze had asked from the Communications Committee, any ideas for the July and August newsletter, please submit those ideas to either myself or to Mel. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over just so Christina can say hello to everyone from Nova.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say a quick hello. Like Dawn mentioned, I am back from maternity leave, so I wanted to make sure I was here tonight to get caught up on everything that's going on with Oak Tree. And of course, I'm working with Dawn in behind or in the background and working with her as needed. So it's great to see you all.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank
you. Deke, we invited Deke to come in and talk about some of the budget related questions we had from last year's budget ratification meeting, because he's kind of I would like to say he's like a budget extraordinaire. So this is where it gets really fun. He's going to be talking, but he's also going to be showing and sharing a screen with you. So your screen's going to change here in a second, and he's going to be showing you a spreadsheet, and he's going to talk through some numbers. So there's going to be a lot of information for some, totally get it. So jot down your questions, or like Dawn said, if you think of something later, please feel free to email Dawn. We'll do a comprehensive response on all of the budget questions afterwards, just so we can capture everything and so we're not missing. So grab a pen and paper if you need to, so you can jot down, or you can use the chat function. And to pull up the chat function, if you pull your mouse down to the bottom portion of your screen, it gives you a little icon for you to click on, and then over on the right hand side you have a column to type. So hang on, here comes a screen change. And before you change your screen, maybe give you a little background.
Sure. So can you guys see my screen? I thought I already shared my screen.
You have not, yeah, I can.
I see it. Mhm.
Do you see the budget?
So can everyone give a thumbs up if they can see the screen? That of those that can see, looks like we have, oh, yes, someone's using a thumb icon. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Nice.
Okay, great.
Okay, so this is the 2020 budget. And it's funny because every time I say 2020, I think of Barbara Walters back in the day. Remember that? 2020, right? So the only reason I show you this is because I just wanted to remind everybody that the budget is based on full build out. And so what that means is once 814 homes are sold and paying assessments, the expenses, the anticipated expenses and the anticipated reserve contributions are going to be about $1.9 million. And so what that translates into is, if you look up here, for 814 homes, it's $200 per month, which you guys are currently paying. And so I bring that up because when we look at the actuals for year to date, so if you look at your screen and you look at, I'm going to highlight these columns, so C, D, E, and F, those are actuals from your financial statements. So Dawn populates this, sends it over to Taylor, and so they look at this, and this is a forecasting model. That's exactly, so it's called the forecasting, and it's exactly what it does. It basically looks at certain assumptions. It looks at our actuals year to date, and that looks at the assumptions for the remainder of the year, purely based on sales. So as you can see, the assessment revenue has increased slightly over the first 4 months and then anticipated to increase every month. I think the assumption is 5 units per month. Now, granted, the state of affairs right now, it may be a little bit different. So this will need to be adjusted. This report is purely based on giving good sound information for Taylor Morris. They can look at this and say, okay, what does this mean? If these things happen, if these assumptions do come true, this is what it will do to cash flow. Because Taylor Morris has been, as you guys know, has been paying for the declarant, or making declarant contributions for the deficit. So when you have a community such as yours and you go through the build out process, a lot of times the assessments that you're collecting and the homes that are paying into it don't cover all of the expenses. And so you can see this right now that throughout the first 4 months, these are actual expenses from this column over to the left. The deficit year to date, as you can see, is $13,005. There's a $5,000 surplus in January. Then there's $13,000 deficit, $4,000 deficit, $2,000 deficit. So these are going to be, there's going to be spikes and valleys. So there's going to be, depending upon seasonal, right? So when irrigation comes around, it's going to go up. It's going to go through the roof. So the assessments will not be covering that. And so what this allows Taylor to do is look at that and for their budgeting purposes, see what that's going to mean for potential declarant contributions. So if you were to look at the year-end data based on these forecasts, there's going to be a substantial deficit. And so there was a substantial deficit in 2019. Taylor Morris has reconciled. They've paid up, so they're clear through 2019. It was a substantial amount of money. And so as you can see, this is a substantial amount of money as well. And it is I just wanted to impress upon you guys that the purpose of this report here is for full transparency, so that you guys can take a look at this and say, okay, here's where the money's coming from, here's where the money is going to, and if there is a deficit, Taylor Morris has been making the declarant contributions to pick up the slack. Does that make sense? And so there's not too much other than this report here. If you guys want to look at, and the reason for this report here is if you look at your financial statement and you look at your 12-month actual to budget, it's basically the same data, except when you look at the budget numbers throughout the rest of the year, they're based on the full build-out budgets, and it doesn't make any sense. It's what is this telling me? I don't understand it. So this document right here is going to basically provide everybody with information so they can see where the money is at and where it's going. And I'd love to take some questions, but I know we're going to put that off to the end. Jennifer, do you have any questions, Jennifer?
No, I think what Deke's point was is he wanted to show, I know the feedback that I think we got a lot of at the budget ratification meeting for those that were present was seeing a a more of a realistic 2020 budget. And we're not going to produce, you know, basically the numbers that you're seeing, also I should mention, it does not include, because we did take into consideration feedback about, well, why are we putting in monies for a reserve budget for a pool that we don't currently have? We've actually removed all of the future villages amenities in the reserve budget. So this basically what you're looking at in terms of this forecast and what our budget looks like right now is just what's currently developed. So that is the pavilion costs to operate and pavilion reserve costs, and then all common area that's currently developed and reserve funds to maintain current common area. So we've reduced that down to pretty much what is tangible now, as opposed to looking very far in the future to 814 homes. And we can keep expanding that picture as things like eventually the villages will come into play. We won't have a lot of additional common areas that are noteworthy moving forward in Division 3 and 4. There's probably a few just sort of pocket areas of lawn and just some landscape areas, but there's nothing substantial like the Oak Preserve or, you know, the villages and any surrounding landscaping around that. So I think Deke is sort of like, you know, he helps associations and all of us managers build budgets, and we do consult him a lot for information. So we felt it was important to have him involved in this because he is involved with us in the back end. So this is how we're tracking. Are we staying within a budget? You know, is our budget appropriate? You know, what would your current, if you didn't have a declarant or, you know, a supplementary income source, you know, what would your situation currently look like? So we're constantly always tracking it. And like he says, you know, you can see where costs will hit, you know, a little bit harder and a little bit less based upon seasonal fluctuations. So we'll work with Deke for individual specific questions and get those addressed. I think, you know, I'm not an expert accountant, neither, I don't know if Karen would count herself as that either, but we do rely on our resources to help come up with accurate and functional budgets. So that was kind of what he wanted to show you with this forecasting model, essentially, is that, you know, we're looking at, we have now a 1 full year of historicals to kind of base, like, we know, we have a really good idea what our pavilion costs are, maintenance costs are. So for a while, we're going to be kind of locked in, because that'll come up in a little bit with some Taylor Morrison and construction updates and rate of sales kind of a type conversation. So I know, Deke, that you have to pop off and go to another meeting. So I'm going to allow you to go speak at another meeting, and we will.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Jennifer, I just want to say, you did a great job. That was fantastic. I was just, you walked through that perfectly. So yeah, it's pretty basic stuff. It really is basic stuff. And I'd be more than willing to chat offline or in the future and answer any questions that you guys may have.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll go into some new business. For those that may be looking at an agenda, it's a little reiterative, but so yes, we did, our clock should be here. There was a little bit of snafu. For those of you that don't know, the Polygon / Taylor Morrison physical office moved right as we were all going into quarantine. So we moved to a new location in Bellevue. So I think the original clock may have gotten lost in the move melee. So a new one's been reordered, and it's on its way. And we've also ordered a new table and set of 4 chairs to add to the pavilion, because we did get a lot of feedback about needing additional table and chair space for some activities. So that's coming up. Like Dawn said, we did our audit, and our tax return for 2019 has been completed. Just to touch base on what Dawn mentioned with the Oak Tree orientation, we're definitely going to have a program that we can roll out at specific intervals, and we'll definitely integrate it in with the orientation that the committees have already done, which seemed to be very successful. They did like an open house kind of forum. That way homeowners can learn, some people haven't lived in an HOA before. So what is an HOA? And then they can maybe understand what Oak Tree HOA is and how it may be different from a previous HOA experience that they may have had. So we'll be able to capture new homeowners, refresh existing homeowners, all that good stuff. So then we spend less time at meetings going over all the same things. So hopefully we will get that rolling soon. And with our age verification, we have gotten quite a few questions about what we're doing to maintain our status and part of the Fair Housing Act. And we do need to be checking and doing age verification on an annual audit. So like Dawn said, more to come on that. And so we've worked on some processes and procedures to be doing it on the back end for resales, current collection, and we're working on a process to capture it on the front end for upcoming closings. So something to keep going through. So let's talk about the pavilion. We'll just get right to the nitty gritty. Like Bill said, we actually did a committee chair Zoom meeting yesterday, and I did mention that Thurston County is at a position where they could apply to be in phase 2. Don't know if they have or not. I checked today, I didn't see any updates. So you guys are Thurston County, so we'll keep that in mind. So we'll see what we're gonna be going off of the governor's guidelines and restrictions, as well as our Taylor Morrison corporate directive. Taylor Morrison tends to be a little bit, we're gonna take more of probably a conservative approach. So you may have other friends or relatives living in another HOA and their amenities might be open sooner. Dawn, Christina, Deke, and I do sit in on a Wednesday Zoom call with like 300 other HOA managers, board members, whatnot, talking about issues of COVID and the pandemic and quarantining and how things impact, and basically the advice that we're getting from legal experts is to keep the amenities closed longer than opening sooner, just for various reasons and liabilities and whatnot. So we'll definitely let you know. We want to get it open as soon as we can, but we also want to maintain, some safety measures. I will start saying it now. Homeowners will need to be able to police their own and manage their own social distancing and their own PPE. There are going to probably be some homeowners that will safely socially distance and collect and gather in, near, or at the pavilion at some point. That may make some people feel uncomfortable. Unfortunately, Dawn or the HOA has the resources to monitor every individual and manage that. So when we open the pavilion, we'll let people know, what to expect, because we all have to protect ourselves in that sense. Like when you go to the grocery store, you decide whether or not you are wearing the mask and, all that stuff. So just keep that in mind. We just can't, police the doors and stuff, but we'll have signage up. We're working on getting additional signage and reminders for that. So more to come. So closed homes. So right now, as of today, we have 149 total closed homes. I believe we have 5 pending sales in the books until the end of June. So that's kind of where we're at. Rate of sales did go down a little bit with the pandemic. But I will say that we were glad and pleasantly surprised here at Taylor Morrison / Polygon to hear that we did have sales every week so far of the pandemic. So there is a market out there. Traffic has picked up in the last couple of weeks as well. So hopefully we'll gain more traction on that so we can eventually get to the villages. We are still on track, same business as usual, with the target of around 300 homes closed or pending in the books. So nothing's changed with that. And, I know for some of you, there's a builder change. It was a little bit of a surprise to us as well. However, our transition from Polygon being, absorbed and integrated into Taylor Morrison has been going pretty well. I'm sure Karen can attest it's business as usual, except for the occasional technology snafus that we're enduring. We have 2-hour integrations that we have to sit through with our computer. We're delaying until our IT guy gets back from paternity leave because we're like, no, don't do this to us. So, a little bit more of just back end things, but for us, it's still, we're moving ahead. Taylor Morrison actually has a lot of experience with the active adult lifestyle community, and so we're going to be benefiting from a lot of the experience, knowledge, and expertise that they have in their programs. So I'm looking forward to meeting some of the other people in our other divisions and the 55 active lifestyle and getting some additional training. So something for me to look forward to as well. But things are still on track. Nothing's changed. The naming changed, but ultimately we're still functioning and doing the same thing. And you know, we did get a question come in prior to the meeting about construction updates. Currently where we're at, since we're still only in phase 1, we're only finishing homes that were to be delivered or at a state of completion where they need to be completed so they're safe. We aren't pouring any current foundations at the moment because we need to wait till a later phase to do such. And when we're in phase 2, I think we're able to then start working on foundations that are already in the ground. So yes, production has kind of slowed a little bit, but it's also coinciding with traffic as well. We do have some standing inventory, so we're hoping, you know, things pick up soon. I think that's just pretty typical for most builders and other businesses. So, you know, we haven't been impervious to the pandemic and whatnot. So we're working through it just as much as we can as anyone else. So Karen, did you have anything else? Did I miss anything? Just gotta mute herself. Nope, you good?
I'm good.
You're good?
I can give you the thumbs up. Nothing more to add.
Perfect. So I didn't see any questions come in on the chat. Dawn, did you get any questions to you?
Yep, I do have some that have come in to me. Let's see. Cheryl and Ed Nugent said they would like us to address some of the we've had some problems with some of the irrigation that Monarch has been working through, and just wanted to know that we were aware. And she said that she was told that there's a meeting with Taylor Morrison and would like to know if we would address this.
Sure. I'm actually driving down tomorrow morning, and we're meeting with Monarch, and we're meeting with the installer, and we're just going to go over some issues and concerns that Monarch has noticed, and don't really have much more until we meet. So.
Okay. So then the next question is from Dawn and Jody Putnam. They want to know, will we be putting wipes or sanitizing spray in the gym to wipe down the equipment? They didn't see this there the last time, so I can answer that one. We do have wipes that are on top of the trash can there. They're kind of built in, that Precor, who is our fitness company that comes and they do quarterly updates, and they also, when they come in for the quarterly updates, they do a cleaning. They did have some wipes that could only be used if you were wearing heavy gloves, because they literally will melt your hands, the skin off of your hands. So we did not think that that was a good idea to have for our homeowners to be using. There is, sanitizing cloths in that container on top of the garbage can in the gym area.
Okay.
Let's see, I'm looking for some different.
Dawn, sorry, and we have some cleaning supplies underneath the sink, right? Like some bacterial spray in the kitchen?
In the pavilion, yes.
Yeah.
I can check the status of that the next time I'm down there, but yes.
We could maybe make sure we have some additional, make sure we have more than normal amounts of cleaner, for sure.
Yep. Sure.
So wipe it down, and if we can get additional Clorox wipes, we can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next question that I have is from, it says Mark, I don't have a last name for Mark, asked if a copy of the budget projections can be loaded onto the portal.
We will talk to Deke about that.
Okay.
Figured it was you.
Then I have another question from Dawn and Jody Putnam. they wondered if we knew what the forecasted end of the year looks like. Does this mean that we're in the red or black?
Yeah, well, I know it was kind of quick and I don't have it on my screen because Deke shared it. But basically, without declarant funding of the 82, projected 82, say nothing changes and it's the 82,000, you know, you would be short that amount. So our job and our responsibility as declarants is to make sure that, you know, we cover budget shortfall. So you would be in the red at the end of the year. That's basically what Deke said, that we covered the shortfall from 2019. Once the final financials were processed and everything was shook out, we found that number and we basically took care of that. So
yeah. I have another question from Cheryl and Ed, and it was addressed to Deke, but Jennifer, I think the board can answer this. So bottom line for forecasting, how much does sales affect the projection? So in other words, if, you know, during COVID time, as you had addressed, if sales aren't aggressively what you had thought they were going to be, is that going to make a huge difference on the budget?
So our HOA budget's not based upon sales or rate of sales. Yes, so if the sales rate increases and we sell more homes, that means you're bringing in more income from a homeowner, right? So that helps balance things out. That means more, you know, consistent income. But just rate of sales, the budget is what it is. The shortfall is what it is. So rate of sales actually doesn't impact that bottom line.
Okay, that's good. Then I had Don and Jody and Cheryl and Ed talking about the Thurston County Hud, as we discussed, had put in an application for phase 2. And so I'm getting conflicting reports that they were approved. I've got some saying that they will be approved soon. Last I checked just before this meeting, they were hoping to be approved soon. So we will check on that.
Yeah, we're not, I mean, that we just wait for the governor to tell us what phases. We just keep our eye out and look. I mean, I don't feel like I'm privy to any of that knowledge. I get it when you all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think that it doesn't necessarily mean that the pavilion will necessarily open. So I don't want to give false hope. Like I said, we may be taking a little bit more of a conservative approach, but we'll see.
And there are provisions concerning reopening, like just because there's a reopening, you know, for a county or for a city for 5 people or less doesn't mean that that would apply to a large structure. So I know, like for fitness centers, for example, in some areas they are opening up for 5 people or less. So that's really hard for us to manage. 5
yeah, and
people
actually
or less in the pavilion.
And part of the fitness areas that are doing that, there's a lot of different parameters.
Oh yeah, protocol.
Pieces of protocol that you have to go through. So like my personal gym is weighing if it's even worth it. So many things to do that. So yeah, we'll get there. We'll turn that page when we get there.
So then we have another question from Cheryl and Ed saying, what is the construction tempo going to be? How many houses a month is Taylor Morrison planning? Was it 5? I thought I heard Deke say that.
Initially it was 5, but you know, I mean, I don't think we're really all going to understand the effects of quarantine in a couple months. So I would like to say that our plan is hopefully to maintain the 5.
Okay. And then
it'll depend on sales. So.
And then Greg Barney, I see your question about irrigation. And again, we are that Jennifer's meeting with Monarch and Puget Sound and Taylor Morrison tomorrow. So stay tuned for additional information on that. That is being worked on. I'm not seeing any other questions right now.
Well, we all survived.
Yeah, I'm super proud of everybody for doing their, research. I know that some folks had some experience with Zoom, Miriam. So some of you all who have been executives for a long time and been working from home here and there or have been forced to work from home with COVID have experience with Zoom, but also we've been doing some trainings since March, and hopefully that's been helpful to you guys. Zoom and YouTube are also an excellent source for learning about Zoom, and any new tricks and tips that I learn, I'm certainly going to be passing them along to you. I think it's a wonderful tool for us to have, to be able to, you guys could be anywhere in the world and tune into an HOA meeting. It's
So you
great,
never have to miss a meeting when you're on vacation.
right? And then we'll
Just
record
joking.
them. So in case you guys want to go back and listen, or again, if you're not able, you'll still be able to listen.
Yeah, and even when we're able to start having meetings in person again, well, this will definitely not be the main source, but it'll be a good supplementary like tool to use for those that maybe don't want to come or vote or want to maybe possibly watch it later. So it's going to be a nice supplemental thing for us moving forward for sure.
Yes.
Well, like we said earlier, you know, you're going to mull on things and then you're going to have some questions. So don't be afraid to shoot them on over to Dawn. And any questions that we do get in the next couple of days, we'll prepare a combined response and then shoot it out. Because I have a feeling people are going to watch it, and so they may have some questions too. So we'll give them a couple of days to like get online and watch, and we'll make sure we get to all the questions and just capture it all in one shot, so you're not inundated with a million emails. Yeah. Well, it's a gorgeous day out. I mean, I know my screen looks great, but I can actually see a window over there and it looks nice and pink. So
The real sun.
I'm hoping to get out and enjoy some of those rays here real quick. So, all right. Any other questions that came in, Dawn? You good?
Looks like that's it right now.
All right. Well, it's good to see your faces. I kind of like it because your names are there. It's like little name tags and faces. It's very handy. Yeah. Steve, you do win the award for the most creative backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Those cats are how I felt like last week.
Aw.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time and joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in person soon.
Thank you all.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.